Yes, definitely.
I mean, it is interesting how that in all these alternative organisations and events, whether you're talking about the Occupy movement or when Fraser did Megatripolis back in the day, there are usually, or they're very often, people who, for one reason or another, their confidence, their class background, their personality, take leadership roles, and sometimes they have to. I think there's a place for a leadership role.
Yes.
So,
In
but
male,
it can
if he's
come.
doing the more glittering, I surrender to him, and he does. I do what he wants.
The problem is that of course when that becomes rigid, and you find that the same one person is always leading,
I never really suffered my relationship with Fraser, although we had one or two disagreements, but because he was. He was doing better things to be around, even if it wasn't successful, right? And there would be recrimination going on. It was still more interesting and, doing things than anything else that anybody else had to offer, right? And
yes,
he was the most charismatic character for me in that period.
And there's a place, so long as there's also a place for him honouring the other people around him. And that they have something to offer.
He gave you kicks at times, which seemed like imposing his mother on me. When I was starting as a volunteer with Mind in Camden. He said, "Oh, she wants to be that." Later, that led to God, where she's writing to Mind, telling them I'm a devil and that I, this and that.
I didn't know that story, but yeah. But anyway, the issue of hierarchies arising. Do you remember there was a pamphlet came out back in the 70s called "The Tyranny of Structurelessness"? Which was about, when you get unstructured groups, people trying to be non-hierarchical, but very often the old structures do arise, like the men taking charge, or the more confident, or the more middle class.
We did well in the 50s with the, it was the 60s, early 60s, the Committee of 100.
Yes.
So we were all supposed to be equal.
Yes,
we didn't
that's
have
a very good
chairman
example,
of meetings,
yeah.
each one took turns and so on. But unfortunately, we didn't keep our word. We didn't all go inside if one person was sent inside, you see. We found ways of not doing it.
That's understandable. But it was a very good
It was a magnificent period.
Yes, it was, yeah. So, next question.
Then you mention, of course, the idea of what we can do, Saturnalias and redemptive carnivals, where, everybody's finding, mixing there, and it leads to, in barren cities. Okay. And then this bit here, which of course is going to take my attention. Palestinians may need to stress their national identity in the present situation of such inequality.
Well, I suppose in general, I find nationalism very problematic. And I think that at the moment there's nationalisms happening all over the world, which I'm not very happy about. But I guess when there's a big hierarchy with a big inequality, I'm more understanding of. I still don't like it, don't get me wrong, and I hope that comes across in the book, but at least I can understand it more when people are nationalistic in relation to perceived oppression.
I like, to me, the evidence is in this next sentence I've got. You're revering the life force. And its ever-renewing cycles of life and death and life. Life and death, you say, being the primary interconnecting opposites. And then your final suggestion is holding a masked party with your friends, perhaps.
Yes.
You don't mind doing that?
Because there's something about masks, isn't there? The way we can be completely different.
Mine is purely practical, which I have to wear because I'm toxic to tobacco.
Oh,
That's why I wear a mask
okay.
in company.
Yeah.
Especially with my zippy friends. So this chapter 5 is about spirituality with equality at heart. So you do now insist that gurus put on a pedestal, then being disappointed by finding them flawed doesn't do anybody any good. So I see that again, you say, not me, sir. That happened to me.
I
saw it happen to others. But
of course, no, yeah, of course, yes, of course. No, I definitely...
no, I did, of course I did. I feel a naughty boy at times, and I need correcting. I need somebody, for example, and they'll tell me you'd be given a kick up the behind.
Well, I would wonder about that, because I believe that our when we're in touch with our core, our deepest intuition, we sort of know when we're doing something that isn't appropriate. We don't need somebody else to tell us, actually. If so the idea that we need to have an external person to say thou shalt not or thou shalt, I think goes against the spirit of equalising
and you use the opposite sentence to my mind, or finding those who need gurus inferior.
Did I say that?
That's what you've written.
But what I think I'm saying in there is that it's a criticism of me that I might look down on, or I used to, not so much now,
exactly,
but I used to slightly, not even slightly, probably quite a lot actually, look down on people that were really completely mesmerised by gurus. And I'm not saying that I haven't been incredibly inspired by, Mother Meera, all kinds of extraordinary teachers in the mainly Hindu pantheon, but in others as well.
She inspired me,
She was amazing.
She started my whole journey.
Really? Mother Meera? Really?
I didn't know until the meeting happened, You have to, in order to enter an ashram, you have to write something, or paint, you could. But just the day before, I'd broken my glasses, you see, and I was in this temple just near to Pondicherry with all these incredible stupas and stuff, and I'd broken my glasses here. I didn't know where to look, and I was all uncomfortable. So when I wrote to the mother, she had to do, I said, "Dear mother, I was at the temple at Hebrew, what is it called? Madurai, yes. Did not know where to look. Can you help me?" And then I was there for about 5-6 days. I went to the what's now Auroville, and then when I was walking home to the street to my home, the banner across the street to the dormitory. School for Perfect Eyesight.
Oh my goodness.
And I thought,
yes.
That sounds like it's good for me. Well, I'll do it. And so I went to this course where there were 4 of us. There was a teacher, thin sort of Hindu type, and then big fat Sikh-like gentleman. And then there was this girl of indeterminate age, I realised afterwards, but she had very, very horn-rimmed glasses, sort of staring at me sort of thing. And me, and this teacher who had a sort of 19th century, is all you'd get in an Indian bookshop, physiological book about the eye, and gave a sort of talk about what the eye was. And afterwards, as I left, I thought, that's not going to give me perfect eyesight, I'll not go to this class, it's ridiculous. So I went to I'd had enough there, I'd been there a week, I went to sign off, and I was going on my way, apparently, to Japan to study yin-yang medicine. It was just a small train ride to the southern tip of India there, you see, to go across to Sri Lanka and get the boat. Instead of which, just as I'm going in the station, I look around and there is this girl in the horn-rimmed glasses on a bicycle sailing past, and I look at her and then go into the station. The train comes to go to Sri Lanka. My bum is stuck to the platform. I cannot get up.
Wow.
3 trains come, and I'm still totally unable to get up.
Goodness.
This, step by step, one by one, when I couldn't get out of the country, move up north, Calcutta, where, boom, the guru and all. And extraordinarily, later on, when this supernatural event happened to me, and my eyesight during the next 3 months were totally perfect, for example, and I suddenly realised, whoops, she led me here.
Wow. Wow. Yeah. Much respect. I mean, there are people who have amazing gifts and who are amazingly tuned in to the other dimensions. She's one of them. But,
obviously.
But
didn't even know I met her.
Amazing story, yeah. And that's, I think, it doesn't mean that you have to kind of worship them or
acknowledge them.
Put them on, yes, acknowledge their incredible gifts and learn from them and maybe feel their energy. They can pass energy.
I'm glad I wasn't in their inner circle. All those things happening around the Suez period where he felt that he caused the Suez crisis, and that...
Who are you talking about?
Him, Aurobindo.
Oh, right, okay. Really? Okay. Well, I guess that's the sort of problem that I'm concerned about in the book is when people you know, that every word they say is the truth.
Yes,
Isn't it?
You know,
and even Mother Mira, I mean, who I absolutely, you know, have more than respect for. You know, she was a little bit homophobic, you know, and Andrew, what was his name? I've forgotten his name now. But, you know, because of her culture, people are still part of the culture and weren't able to see that, you know, gay people were as valuable as any other person. You know,
yes,
so
well, we all
so
make that mistake.
we all make
I was kind of anti-gay because I'd been attacked by them. You know, I didn't like them individually without having a collective hatred.
Yeah.
Because I was going into cinemas, missing school, you know, playing hooky. And it'd be practically empty, and this guy would come with a coat, sit next to you, and the coat would come over you, and you'd start feeling his hand, and you have to move away and all that.
No, but my point is that even the most wonderfully gifted, amazing human being will have their